Welcome to Backwoods Pursuit. Today I'm going to show you how to set up the third axis on a bow sight. The third axis setup should be done when you're at full draw and done by the person who's going to be shooting the bow. So we're going to show you how to take care of that process. Setting up the third axis while you're at full draw accounts for the limb torque as well as any riser torque that's going to be happening while you're at full draw. If you don't do that, sometimes that riser, most of the time that riser will torque just a little bit when you're at full draw, and so that the sight will turn just a little bit on you. So when you go to level your bow sight, when you're on a side hill or a steep angled shot, that you'll think that you're level, but really your pins aren't, so you're going to get some drift on that arrow. So you may think that you made a good shot, but it drifts into an area that you don't really want to hit on an animal, or you just miss entirely depending on the yardage. So setting the third axis at full draw is going to take care of that problem. Make sure that you aim and hit where you're aiming. So come along as we take care of that process. If you want to check out my other video as far as setting up the Black Gold Pro sight, I go through setting up the second and third axis on that, and per the instructions on Black Gold that I send you when you get that sight, you go ahead and set the third axis and the second axis while the bow is in a vise. So I'll show you that process first, and that gets you really close. You always want to check that when you're at full draw to make sure that the riser and limb torque doesn't set that third axis out of place. So we're going to take care of that. Come along as we do that. As always, we sure would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button for us, as well as follow us on our Facebook and Instagram accounts, and check us out on our website, backwoodspursuit.com. Let's go get started. Alright, so the first step, that you want to put your bow in a vise here, and if you can get your hands on one of these Hamskea Third Axis levels, or these leveling tools, it's really handy. It helps a lot in getting that third axis set. So what I've done is I've leveled leveled the bow in the vise, and then make sure that you find a nice flat spot on the riser to attach that Hamskea to, and then level that. Make sure that that is also level on the bow sight, or the second axis there. The level on the bubble on the sight itself is level, and that way you know that the Hamskea tool is level, and so that's kind of what it's going to look like. So you set that up, and then we're going to go over to the plumb line that we've created. Alright, so next I went ahead and just hung a plumb line from here in the garage. Just put a nail in the cabinet here and then hung that down with a little weight down on the bottom. So that's going to give us our plumb line, so that we know that we've got a straight line to work with, and that's what you need. You need a straight line to make sure that all your axes are set. Okay, so for this process I'm basically going to use that plumb line that I just set up. I'm going to line up the top and bottom of this Hamskea tool along that plumb line, and then because I know that plumb line is straight up and down, and if I line up here and here on the Hamskea tool, and top and bottom on that line, and then if my level here is perfectly level, then we're good to go. If it's not, we need to make a small third axis adjustment. So basically on the third axis, if I'm looking at the bow like this, what we're changing here is the bow. The sight housing here is going to be moving like this or like this, one of the two. So that's what we're going to be changing, because when you're simulating that steep angle shot, that housing can be turned one way or the other just a little bit, and if it's off, you're going to be thinking that you're shooting in a certain area, but the arrow's going to have a little drift on it because the sight is not perfectly level on its third axis. I've already set the third axis in the vise, not at full draw, so it should be close, but we'll see how much that changes when we do full draw. Okay, so I've got the bow at full draw. I'm lining up steep angle shot like this, lining up that bead, that screw from the Hamskea on that plumb line. And when I do that, my bubble is about, let's see if I can get you to see this. The level here is about right about there. So it's on that right hash on the sight level itself. So that tells me that I need to move that third axis just a little bit, so that when I'm at full draw, it's accounting for the limb and riser torque. So I'm going to put it back on the vise here and do that real quick. Alright, so once again, same as the other video, when we need to adjust the third axis, we just loosen this just a little bit. I just did that already, so it's already loose. That point right there, and different size, this one up here. Those are the two locking screws for the third axis. Now to make the adjustment, we come over to the other side. So to make the adjustment, we come to this side, use this big screw again here, and we're just going to do just about a half or a quarter turn, I'm sorry, not even a quarter turn, an eighth of a turn. And go try that again. Alright, so I made that last final adjustment here. Of course, if you're going to be doing this in your garage or in your house using a door frame or something like that, be really careful. Knock an arrow, make sure you protect your bow, but also be very careful when you have your bow drawn. Make sure that it's safe that way. So let's double check the last adjustment. Line up that plumb line with the Hamskea. And it looks like we are all set. Pins are lined up with the plumb line, the bubble's lined up, Hamskea's lined up. We're good to go. So that's how you set the third axis on your bow sight when you're at full draw. It's a critical step to make sure that on those angle and steep shots that your arrow doesn't drift on you, but it's something that you want to definitely take care of and make sure that it is set, especially for western hunting where you can have some longer shots or some steep angle type shots. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll see you next time on Backwoods Pursuit.